And I'd love just to get your perspective, because I have a relatively uneducated, opinion, let's say, on the school system. I'd love to learn from your point of view. One, what is broken in the current UK schooling system? And then two, what changes would you make or would you like to see in the coming years?
Yeah, I think it's important just to mention this is about the UK system,
Yeah.
which is mainly my main experience, although I've worked with other schools and teachers across the world. So the school system as we know it was created in the Industrial Revolution 200 years ago to have like obedient workers where people come in, they'd be sat at desks and a bell will go a bit like in the factory and people would change from room to room to room. There'd be someone at the front giving information, mainly knowledge, and that would generally be the school system. Now, what I've just shared there is basically what the school system, to an extent, the layout of school, the structure of school is set out today. So we teach in a very similar way that we taught 200 years ago. And unfortunately, what's happened over those years is governments have this big, it's very political, right? So they've made this big thing about like improving standards and improving education. But what really they've done is just add layers and layers of data, testing, assessments, and curriculum changes to standardize everything, and to raise standards and to push students. But it doesn't work like that because everyone is different. And with education, not one size fits all, right? You can't just force every like round peg into a square hole. And actually very few students have the ability to just learn that knowledge, especially between 14 and 16. Like that last curriculum change in 2017 killed that love of learning in that year group, between 14 and 16, because just so much to teach, harder topics, the criteria to get the best grades went up, and it's just this big pressure cooker. So we've been doing the same thing for a long time, and it just churns out teachers and students. Like 50,000 teachers leave the profession each year in the UK, and currently 1 million students don't go to school. Now, when I was a teacher, we called them school refusers, which annoys me so much now because there's many reasons children don't go to school, mainly because maybe they're neurodivergent, they've got SEND needs, so special educational needs, or for other reasons. But we're so quick to let. But what I'm saying here is like, if the education system was flourishing, then surely that wouldn't be the case. Surely you'd have teachers that stay in the profession. Surely you have students that want to go to school and learn. And I don't know how far else we can go, because the reason behind all the standards as well is competition. So you've got international PISA, international school league tables, which governments like speak about. It's a load of BS in my opinion. And schools are comparing themselves on league tables. So the pressure comes down from the government. That is then given to head teachers who like, to get bums on seats, to raise our standards, we need to get good grades. That's then passed on to teachers. And teachers are held accountable by the grades that students get. So their pay rise, which is about £1,000 a year if they hit their targets, until 30 grand. This is what it was back in the day. Only happens if they hit the grades. So all this pressure is then passed on to the kid. And then you have these challenges of mental health. Mm-hmm. And there's no support. So it's like building a house on weak foundations. You're piling pressure on top, but you haven't given like mental health support, life skills, soft skills, what we're going to call it, well-being to those kids. So then everyone just crumbles and gets burnt out.
Like and subscribe.